All right, guys, let's talk China. Let's talk China. Let's not waste any more time with collusion and investigations and Nadler and Schiff and all those idiots. Let's talk about something serious. From The Sun, China has called for a, quote, people's war, while hitting out at the, quote, greed and arrogance of the United States amid an escalating trade dispute with Washington. Beijing's state-run media has went into propaganda overdrive after Donald Trump doubled tariffs on Chinese goods last week, sending stock markets tumbling, unquote. My friends, the Chinese are communists. The Democrats, socialists, communists, basically the same thing. And they have other traits in common. They lie. Now, in America, when the Democrats lie, you got people like me and Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and Mark Levin and on and on and on, commentators who can call them out on their lies and tell people about them. In China, there's no such thing. There are no conservative radio talk show hosts in China. No freedom at all. And so they can tell their people lies and they will simply be believed. No one's going to contradict them. China has been cheating and stealing from the United States for very many years. Stealing intellectual property, manipulating currency, doing a whole bunch of other odious things that are simply illegal. They've been chastised by the international business community and they just don't care. They don't have politicians who have to get reelected. So they can thumb their nose at the world, and that's what they're doing now. And I think Donald Trump is going to bloody that nose. Stock market did well yesterday. It's doing well today. We're okay. Some people will get hurt, and that's unfortunate. But like I said yesterday, when you're in a fight, you can't expect to get out without your hair being mussed. And we're in a fight. And we've been losing the fight. And now we're finally fighting back. And that's a good thing. Item from the Economic Collapse blog, a related item. Unless someone backs down in a major way, this trade war is going to last for a very long time. And the Chinese have made it exceedingly clear they're never going to back down on the core issues. Stop. That's what the Chinese are saying. That's not the truth. The truth is that China's economy is far weaker than ours. They need us more than we need them. And so in the game of chicken, they will blink first. The problem is, given leftist politicians here in the U.S. and given the leftist media, the president will get slammed just for being in a game of chicken. And they want to surrender. The Democrats who bow to foreign dignitaries, who send their president, Barack Obama, on an apology tour around the world, they are the first to grab their ankles. So what we're doing with China is correct. And by the way, if we were to get our military involved, don't think that the next step would be nuclear Armageddon. We can push the Chinese. And they'll see that we mean business. Remember, they need us more than we need them, and they have been screwing us over for decades. We can continue to be their lackeys and their bitches, or we can be America. You can't be both. The piece from the Economic Collapse blog continues. Bernie Sanders and other Democrats have staked out positions that are just as tough on China as Trump is being. And so if Trump backs down now, he will absolutely be hammered by the other side for being weak. But if investors become fully convinced that the protracted trade war is in our future, that could be enough to set off a new financial crisis and throw the global economy into a tailspin. Unquote. My friends, things are going well. The global economy is not simply going to be thrown into a tailspin. It doesn't work that way. If anything, investors around the world will have more confidence in the United States and our economy because it sees we're not willing to continue to be China's bitch. It's very important. It's also important for the national character. We're trying to teach kids, some of us are anyway, to be proud of America. Well, you can't be proud of an America that's on her knees in front of China. So they want a trade war? Good. Let's go. Item from Agence France Presse, Dateline, Paris. Assaults in France on lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people hit a new record in 2018, a, quote, dark year for the LGBT community, French group SOS Homophobie reported on Tuesday. The nonprofit association registered 231 physical attacks, up from the previous annual record of 188 anti-LGBT assaults back in 2013, linked to same-sex marriage legislation. 2018 was a dark year for LGBT people, said SOS Homophobie co-presidents Veronique Godet and Joel Dumier in the yearly report. Unquote. Islam. That's why the numbers of assaults on LGBT people is going up in France. Islam. No nice way to say it. Do you want to know why you haven't heard this from gay activists, gay rights activists here in the United States? Well, because gays generally side with Muslims, like liberals do in general. Gays are almost always liberal. If gays would walk their talk, they would get on airplanes and go to Paris and protest there and teach people there and show strength in numbers there. They won't, because it's inconvenient. But make no mistake about it. Muslims who hate gays also hate Christians, also hate Jews, hate Americans. And the really scary part is that those Muslims who hate everybody, they're not just in Paris, France. They're here, too. Item from Breitbart. Cuba's communist regime sent police to beat and violently haul away some of the estimated 300 people congregating in Havana on Saturday for an illegal gay pride march organized after the regime canceled the annual Castro-led Conga Against Homophobia. Mariela Castro, the head of the Cuban National Center for Sex Education that organizes the annual Conga, disparaged the privately organized peaceful march this weekend as a show somehow orchestrated by anti-communists in Havana. While the Castro regime has brutally repressed LGBT people, placing them in labor camps along with Christians and other, quote, counter-revolutionaries in the 1960s, dictator Raul Castro has allowed daughter Mariela to claim leadership of the government's non-existent gay rights agenda as a pet project. Unquote. Well, it seems to me like gay rights activists are going to be getting an awful lot of frequent flyer miles. If they want to go to places where gays are really being mistreated, they can go to Paris, they can go to the Middle East, they can go to Cuba. Staying here accomplishes nothing. Bon voyage, kids. Riell Truth. We'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. You know, a lot of people don't know that I write movie reviews for the website movieagendas.com. You might want to check that out. You want to check out my Facebook page, Riell Truth Radio. But more important than either of those, you want to check out my book, Riell Truth Stay Angry, over 570 pages of sheer conspiratorial light. It'll let you know who's who, what's what, and why what's happening is happening. Check it out online. Go to virtualbookworm.com. You can go to barnesandnoble.com, amazon.com, just about any .com. I happen to favor Virtual Bookworm. Go there. I got a whole bunch of books that I've written there. Look at them, buy them, read them. You will not be sorry. Let's get back to China. You know, it's funny. When you talk about China just a short time later, you want to talk about it again. Steve Hilton on Fox News also believes President Trump is doing exactly the right thing and standing up to China. Let's hear what he had to say 2 days ago. My friends, this is what happens when we vote for hack whore politicians. From Clinton to Bush to Obama, they could not stop singing the praises of our deals with China all the time. We were taking it. We were taking a beating from China. We were getting screwed by China, cheated, robbed, deaf, dumb, and blind. The politicians said, yeah, that's great. So finally, enough of us got smart enough to vote for a disruptor, someone who's not a hack whore politician, but who's a businessman and a champion negotiator. And now China's not so happy. Why isn't China happy? Well, believe me, America's better off when China is not happy. Because we're not going to submit to thievery anymore. We're not going to be bitch slapped anymore. We want a level playing field. That's all we want. These negotiations are not for us to get an advantage on China. It's to take away their thieving and their cheating. So as you listen to these three numbskull presidents, keep in mind that it was the three of them more than other people over the last 20 some odd years who dug the hole that we're in now, that Trump has to get us out of. And with that, they have that in common with Islam. You know, this is real truth. And so we deal with truth whether we like it or not. And here's the truth. What Steve Hilton just said is correct. China has never planned to play fair with us. They've always been up to no good. Just like Islam has no intention of living in tolerant harmony with the rest of the human race. Those are truths. Get used to them. And once you do, you'll begin to understand the world a little bit more, which is the same thing that will happen if you buy my book, Riell Truth, Stay Angry. Let's go back to Hill. Absolutely right. For more than 20 years, Donald Trump has seen the real truth about dealing with China. How come the phony baloney politicians didn't see that? How come Trump was the only person saying this? And since it turns out he's been right for all these 2 decades plus, maybe it's a good thing we voted for him in 2016. Maybe it'll be a good thing we vote for him again in 2020. You think maybe?
And here is it.
Trump got it right. The entire establishment was wrong. It's true about China. True, by the way, about his own election. The day of the election, there were high-paid experts, the elite of the elite consultants in the political world, who said, Trump has no chance. So people ask me why I have so much faith and trust in Donald Trump. And the answer is obvious. For 20, 30 years or more, he has been right. He's been right. He sees the world the way it is, and he knows how to fix what's broken. That's why. Good idea, jackass. Bend over and grab your ankles and prepare to stay there for the next 40, 50 years, as long as you live. Here are the experts on TV saying, let's not stop China from stealing. Let's not oppose them. Just take whatever they do. Just get on your knees. Stay on your knees. Say thank you once in a while. Say nice things about them. And they'll continue to rob us blind and take advantage of us, but that's okay. That's the left. That's the cancer of the left.
A terrible idea.
Well, I don't disagree with him when he says he doesn't think. Yeah, it hurts. So, we're fighting for our lives on the world stage. We're going to get hurt. Deal with it. Grow up. Accept it. You know what? What the hell has happened in this country? I got to tell you. We've come a long way from John Wayne and Gary Cooper. Those were men. Now look at these weenies here, these linguini-spined fools. At the slightest bit of discomfort, they start to whine like children. Thank God they're not in charge of anything.
No understanding of
David Frum is one of those anuses who is widely respected among people who respect anuses. Time and again throughout the years, what he said has been proven wrong and proven wrong and proven wrong and proven wrong, and there he is, still on national television. Guys, at a certain point, you got to be right to maintain your credibility.
perfect articulation.
By the way, Mr. Frum, if you need a recommendation about where to shove your dirty laundry, call into the show, 877-254-7524. I've got at least one recommendation.
But the big point here is that this whole story is not just about economics anyway. We are literally in a battle to determine the value system that will dominate this century, perhaps the next one too. Freedom or authoritarianism, democracy or one-party rule. Yes, the trade deficit matters, the loss of manufacturing even more. But we need to understand that China declared war on us many years ago.
This guy, hang on one second. I'm getting even angry about this guy Frum, the anus I referred to. He says the future is technology. Mr. Frum, schmuck. Chinese are stealing our technology. We develop it, they steal it. Mr. Frum, schmuck. When do you get clued in? First of all, we do need washing machines. We do need manufacturing. How many manufacturing plants have gone up since Trump became president? How many hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of jobs in manufacturing that Barack Obama said would never come back? We need to focus on technology. Mr. Frum, did you ever hear of Silicon Valley? We are focusing on technology. And as fast as we develop it, China's stealing it. So get in the game. And so it's time for the screaming memes out there to grow up, to get a pair, and realize that with China, just as with Islam, we are in a war. Well, we better start trying to win that war, because amazingly, shockingly, we have not been trying for decades. Now we've got a leader. We'll be right back. My friends, welcome back to Riell Truth. When pigs like Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar go out in public and spew anti-Semitic filth, I'm not surprised. I understand the anger. I understand the vitriol. I understand the fury. I don't understand people being surprised. And there are two reasons I don't understand it. Number one, what the hell else do you expect from Muslims? And number two, what the hell else do you expect from liberals? Anti-Semitism has long been a major plank in the liberal platform. And people are just waking up to it now? I don't think so. No one should be surprised at the garbage coming out of these women's mouths, or the fact that the Democrat Party is too cowardly to read them out of the party, to take them on and shut them up. Ted Cruz was on Sean Hannity's show yesterday talking about the history of anti-Semitism on the left. Let's listen. Folks, when a Palestinian says she gets a calming feeling, think about the Holocaust, it should tell you something. Nothing special about her. She's saying what all Palestinians feel. She's saying what almost all Muslims feel. And if the Holocaust had happened to Christians, they'd get the same calm feeling. Because the Muslims don't want to share the planet with anyone else. They don't even want to share it with themselves. They massacre each other. So listening to this piece of dirt, yeah, it makes me angry as a Jew. It doesn't in the least bit surprise me.
Protesters, Palestinians,
Stop. Palestinians lost their land. What land, Rashida? What land? Palestinians had no land. Palestinians were itinerant Arabs wandering around the desert who happened to be in what was formerly Israel. The Jews weren't there because they had been conquered by Rome almost 2,000 years earlier and sent spinning into exile around the world. As far as welcoming the Jews back after the Holocaust, that is an obscene fantasy. In the 1920s, long before the Holocaust, so-called Palestinian Arabs were murdering Jews in the streets in cold blood. In the 1930s, there were mass killings of Jews in what was then called Palestine. In the 1940s, the leader of the Palestinian people went to Germany to confer with Adolf Hitler to bring the Holocaust to the Middle East. I'm certain Rashida Tlaib knows these things. I'm certain she's a pig. She's a hater and a racist and an anti-Semite. And by the way, I just said she's a typical liberal. Yeah, that's a lie. Rashida Tlaib is hoping that you are stupid enough to believe that. You hear it, you believe it. That's how the leftist media survives. That's why there's a CNN and an MSNBC and a CNBC, because they figure any garbage they throw out there, someone's just going to swallow. Well, they hadn't counted on Howard Riell and Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and Mark Levin and Laura Ingraham and Larry Elder and a whole bunch of other people who are out there batting down the lies, popping the balloons of the lies of the left. And this is among the most scurrilous lies. My friends, if you value the state of Israel, if you know, and it's completely true, that Israel is America's strongest, most loyal ally, if you believe in what it says in the Bible, that those who bless the Jewish people will be blessed, then you cannot vote Democrat, ever. The Democrats have always been friends of the Arabs. Always felt for the poor Palestinian people who are murderers and terrorists. The whiff, the stench of anti-Semitism has always come from the left. And so if you want to support the state of Israel and the Jewish people, you cannot, dare not, vote Democrat ever again.
Okay, that's Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, that invited this radical. What is going on?
Well, it's unfortunately a growing problem. The Democratic Party as a whole is galloping to the left, and one of the components of that is the extreme left has a long history of anti-Semitism, of anti-Israel hatred. We're seeing it with this freshman trio, these three freshman House members who keep expressing anti-Semitic, anti-Israel comments, whether it is Congresswoman Tlaib's comments about the Holocaust, which are just, they're horrifying, or whether it was Congresswoman Omar's tweet attacking Israel, saying it's all about the Benjamins. I mean, it's repeating anti-Semitic attacks, and it would be mean, one thing if it's just a couple of fringe radicals in their party, but what we've seen is, at least in the House of Representatives, the Democratic Party as a whole, the leadership as a whole, is unwilling to distance themselves from these radicals. They're unwilling to distance themselves from these extreme and really harmful sentiments.
So the Democrats are unwilling to distance themselves from anti-Semitism, from racism. That's the Democrats. What Ted Cruz is saying is true. And so again, if you are an honest, sincere person, if you try to be godly, try to live a righteous life, you need to distance yourself, not just from the Palestinians, God knows, but from Democrats who actively support evil around the world. We'll be back. All right, guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. The Democrats, for some reason, were able to capture the House of Representatives in the election several months ago. I guess they garnered enough stupid people to get to the polls, or they faked enough ballots. Who knows what happened? They won the House. They probably cheated to win the House, but they won the House. And now we're stuck with the House as it is. Here's Judge Jeanine Pirro ripping the House a new one. Well, you'll hear why. Go ahead, Judge.
The only paper they respond to is this.
Judge, let me answer that question. Yes. Wait, stop. It's easy to pass over what the judge just said. The Democrats said they wanted to see the report. The Attorney General said, okay, you can see the report. Not one Democrat went to see the report. Why is that? Let's go, guys. You're a smart bunch. If you're listening to Riell Truth, you're smart. Why would the Democrats ask for something and then not take it when offered? Well, here's the answer. They didn't really want it. They knew there was nothing in it, but they were putting on a show for the general public. Just like they do when they scream, Trump's a racist. Trump hates women. They know it's nonsense. Trump colluded. They know it's garbage. But they want the opportunity to scream it because, once again, as I've said many times, their voters are low information voters, low intelligence voters. They want their voters, their supporters, to hear it because they'll believe it. They won't question it. You want to talk about a constitutional crisis? How about the fact that these lunkheads who listen to and believe the Democrats are constitutionally allowed to vote, just like you and me? That is a constitutional crisis.
Or acquiescing to the demands of the radical movement that conceal the constitutional crisis is the uncreated federal government administration officials, France, Russian collusion, found by that national defeated self, tyranny, the disgrace never had for the FBI. We found out this week the FBI was on board of this Mr. Dossier mistake, even before they bothered to advise a judge and use it as the sole basis of the Trump campaign. That preserved this himself early in the moral role of the dossier, which occurred, even admitting to the president in January 2017 it was unverified.
Now, guys, let me jump in here with a moral lesson for you, if I may. The Democrats had this whole collusion thing, this whole coup d'etat, had it pretty well planned. And after a while, the truth seeps out. Every once in a while, you'll see a newspaper article about the fact that some German guy in his 90s has been arrested because he was a guard at one of the concentration camps. Well, he managed to stay free all these years, but the truth gets out. Eventually, it all comes out in the wash. And so the moral lesson for you and for me is this. Don't lie, cheat, or steal. Not because you're eventually going to get caught, but because it's the wrong thing to do. It's not what God wants us to do. You should never be happy or feel comfortable if you're lying, cheating, and stealing. And on top of that, the truth will eventually come out. Lies are eventually recognized as such.
Subversive. You have to spy on the man that he is fighting against. Only has the Clinton plan chutzpah. Seriously, we don't spy, we investigate. Really repeated. The dossier was BS and you know it. You, FBI, DOJ, and other fraud on the guy's part. And lots of abuse of power. A clear violation of our laws. And what you took out of the shadows Thursday night, because you know
Yes, it is a big deal. It's an attempt at a coup d'etat, overthrowing a duly, legally, constitutionally elected president. It's what happens in toilets like the old Soviet Union and Cuba and Venezuela and a whole bunch of other places neither you nor I would like to live. We can't have it here, and Trump and his AG are ferreting it out. They're rooting it out. Just one more reason, among many, that we should stop and say thank you, President Trump. We'll be back.
Hey, Howard, it's been sounding loud enough today?
It's louder than it was yesterday, yeah.
Still a little quiet for you, though?
Still a little bit, yeah. But that's okay, I can hear it.
Okay, that's better. Your internet listeners at KHNC spiked high yesterday. It's a little lower today, but just to let you know, I think a couple times you said something about it. You're getting your listeners to do that. It's definitely, Joe was talking with the numbers, and the numbers were about 4 times higher than normal yesterday.
Really? Why do you think that is?
Well, we have very few internet listeners. I would say the internet listeners versus radio listeners is probably minimally 100 to 1.
Okay.
So if you have 12 internet listeners, you probably have 1,200 radio listeners, which is actually pretty good for the foundation. We're going to build all of this up. We don't have a Nielsen rating. We're just going to wait until, and even the Nielsen rating is flawed in their own way. But yeah, by today you're at 4. But 4 is actually not a bad number. We have shows at 0. We have some that aren't getting internet listeners at all.
Huh. Okay.
Just wanted to let you know, because I know you mentioned a couple times. I think maybe you have some people that have Mondays off, maybe, instead of driving around or looking on the internet.
It could be. Well, I'm glad you told me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, the internet listening experience is more clear than the radio, too.
Okay. Good to know.
All right, hang on.
All right, thanks. And we are back with 4 minutes to go. By the way, if you're listening on the internet, thank you very much. Very happy to have you. You know, you can go to 1360khnc.com and listen to the show streaming. After the show, you know, you can always go to my Facebook page, Riell Truth Radio. You can go to YouTube. The show is always up there. It's always a pleasure. The only problem with watching it on YouTube or the internet is that you see my face. Actually, on the internet, you don't, so you're safe. Item from Breitbart. Jihadists bombed the Syria Christian village of al-Sekelbiya on Sunday, killing at least 4 children during a catechism lesson, along with their teacher, and leaving another 6 children injured, according to the local media. Unquote. My friends, those are the brave jihad warriors attacking children. Item also from Breitbart. Islamic terrorists, mainly the Islamic State, carried out more than 30 attacks in over 10 countries during the first week of the ongoing holy month of Ramadan, killing at least 160 people, injuring 155 others. Unquote. My friends, think about it. What do you do on holy days? You probably go what? You go to church, you get together with family and friends, and you think about holiness, and you think about brotherhood and love, right? Well, during the so-called holy days of Ramadan, Muslims go out and murder people. Think about it. Item. Twitter's censors locked the account of Ray Blanchard, one of the world's leading researchers on transgender people, until widespread criticism forced a reversal by the progressive social media site. Twitter has unlocked my account and graciously apologized for their error, Ray Blanchard tweeted, after the pro-transgender censorship was lifted. My sincere thanks to the people who expressed their concern during the past 24 hours. But Blanchard also noted, quote, I've come to realize Twitter does not care whether a tweet is factually correct, but only whether it's offensive to a favored group of Twitter users, in this case, transgender dysphorics, unquote. The reversal was applauded by groups which oppose the transgender ideology, even as they are also sympathetic to the individuals who are upset, dysphoric, because they cannot change their sex. Critics of Twitter and other social media groups spotlighted the censorship, unquote. My friends, transgender people are mentally ill. And if anybody out there wants to try and shut me up, well, so far no one's been able to succeed in 60 plus years. Item from Breitbart. Ahead of the 2020 presidential election, Republican voters say President Trump's top priorities are to be building a wall along the United States-Mexico border and reducing all immigration to the country. My friends, there was a genius several years ago. His name was Howard Riell. He said, absolutely, we should have not a single illegal alien coming here. And by the way, I'm not sure we need that many legal immigrants coming here. We've taken 1 million people a year legally, and I'm not thinking that we need that many. Or at least we should take a very, very close, detailed look at whether or not we need that. And we should also look at which countries they're coming from. We don't need immigrants, legal or otherwise, from third world toilets. We need people coming here from countries where education is commonplace, where personal hygiene is commonplace. We need people who come here and make America better. We don't need more people to stand around and ask the government for free stuff. Well, you know what? I'm going to leave it right there. I'll be back tomorrow. Have no fear of that. In the meantime, definitely get my book, Riell Truth, Stay Angry, virtualbookworm.com. It's not expensive. Nearly 600 pages of conspiratorial light. I'll see you tomorrow.